Greetings YouTube, this is your resident Landcruiser nut, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming back to the channel. As you can see, we have an interesting project behind us. This is a customer's 1978 Toyota Landcruiser FJ40 with the 2F engine. As you can see, it's in my opinion, this is how they should look. I know some people have different tastes, putting V8s and bigger tires on them. But to me, this just looks great, this setup. So the customer sent me this vehicle and he needs a little bit of maintenance done on it. I call it deferred maintenance. So he's got a whole checklist of things that I need to check out. Some of the things are changing all the fluids. So the rear diff, the transmission, the transfer case, the front diff, brake fluid, and the clutch master cylinder. He wants all of that changed and the oil. So he doesn't really know when it was done. He bought this truck and just kind of wants everything to be on a schedule that he can track. And so we're gonna get all that done. He also has a few more complicated issues. The parking brake does not work. When you pull on it, it just pulls straight out. So I need to diagnose that and see what's going on. I did also notice that it's leaking from the transfer case output shaft that goes into the parking brake on these FJ40s. If you haven't seen the parking brake setup on one of these, they're actually attached to the transfer case. So I need to look into that. That's a common leak problem with these 40s. And I believe Cruiser Outfitters sells a new housing. So we're gonna take a look at that as we change out some of the fluids and they're underneath the truck. The other issue that he has is he can't see his instrument lights at night. And actually, when we do a walk around of the vehicle, I'll show you the inside of the truck and show you how those work. The other thing is the truck has a dieseling problem. When you drive it for a long time and you turn off the truck, it'll stay running for about really a second or two. A lot of people put these Weber carburetors on these 2F engines and sometimes they just need to be rebuilt. But there are a number of other issues that could result in a dieseling issue. So we'll just have to look at everything as we're going through. Right now, let me get set up and I'll do a quick walk around of the vehicle and let you take a look at it and show you all the things that's been done to it. So let's start with the tires and suspension. So the customer is running an Old Man Emu 2.5-inch lift. These are a 33-10-50 tire on a 15-inch rim that gives this truck a proper stance. As we move on to the back here, you see it's been converted to LED taillights in the back. The customer actually wishes he could go back to the original, something maybe he'll look at doing in the future. We have the Wilco swing out tire carrier with the dual swing outs. Actually, this isn't a dual swing out, it's a single swing out attached to this rear bumper. I don't know who makes that, but it's a nice rear bumper. Coming around to the side, we got the high lift jack mounted here. This is something I fabricated. I can't claim total credit though, because I looked at a Mr. Landcruisers and I was able to kind of fabricate one myself using his idea. So haven't decided if I'm going to make these myself yet. There was a lot of work to do that, and it may be more cost productive to order them from Australia. I haven't checked yet. Coming around, we got this front bumper. You can see it's got a few rust spots on it. I think you can just grind those down and repaint it, but the stance is phenomenal. I really like the way this truck looks. The other issue that I'm gonna have to sort out is someone did a partial EGR delete, but they left the smog pump, so it's just sitting there by itself, and when you're driving down the road you can hear it because it's still being spun by the belt. So the owner wants me to go ahead and remove that, and then after that we'll figure out the next two belts that it's gonna need. We'll move on to the inside now and I'll show you what I was talking about with the instrument lights. Cruiser Core seat covers, I really like these, kind of give it that old school vibe, and they're pretty they're not very expensive to maintain. So this is the instrument cluster, obviously. Now on this model FJ40, again, this is a 78 body. When you pull on this, that turns on the lights. When you turn this, there's a rheostat back there behind this, and that changes the dimness of, I guess that's a word, dimness, the brightness of your instrument panel. So there is no brightness with his though, it just doesn't work. He thinks that the switch is bad, and I'll have to take a look at it, but I did look up these switches and they are extremely hard to find. And the only one that I found was a post from 2019, and the guy wanted $500 for it rebuilt. They don't make them anymore, so there's some other solutions to it that I've seen on Mud to maybe even jump the terminals in the back. There won't be a dimming function anymore. They'll just be on full bright when you turn the lights on. So that may be a cheaper solution. So when I pull this off, we'll be able to see kind of what the problem is. We got a little head unit here that's been updated, but still kind of looks old school. I like that. Part-time transfer case and a 4-speed manual transmission. Moving on down, I can see that we have the cup holders. If you have a 40 and you weren't aware of this, these things did not come with any cup holders, so we got a couple here. These came from a good friend of mine on Etsy that sells these. I've actually bought several of them over the years. If you need some cup holders, just check on Etsy and look FJ40 cup holders, FJ60 or FJ80, and you'll more than likely see his page, but they fit very well. So yeah, that's the inside of the truck. Let me get set up, and I'll just talk about the rest of the plan for this vehicle and how we're going to proceed. So I gave you the overview of all of the projects I'm going to be taking on with this truck. This will be my first shot as a series. I'm not going to handle everything in one single video. That would be one long video, so I'll break it down into multiple parts. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing. It's been real fun making these videos, and I hope along the way you learn something, and that's why I do this. So I'm going to go ahead and close the video out there. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure with this truck. Thank you.